So I actually have all of the UJAM plugins. Well, not quite all of them. I have all the UJAM plugins up to what they had as of Black Friday last year. But the main point actually being is that this is not any sort of sponsored video. I just felt like doing this. Hi guys, it's Emma, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then welcome to the chaos. I do all things music related on here, from audio engineering style content to production songwriting challenges to just talking about music and musician life. Today's video is a production style-y, audio engineering style-y video. I'm going to be talking about some plugins again. I'm doing a few of them lately. I have a bunch of UJAM plugins. I've talked about them on this channel before, and I talked about how I opted to go with their full package deal they did last Black Friday in the last Black Friday sales. Side note there being that if you decide that you like any of the UJAM plugins, I wouldn't buy them full price because they're pretty much always doing some sort of sale. Like, they do sales really regularly on something. So if you're eyeing something up now and it's not currently got a deal going on, give it a couple of months and it probably will end up with some money being knocked off of it or some deal being done on their packages. I was basically looking to get a couple of their bass VSTs. I really wanted their piano VSTs, and I wanted a couple of the drum kits that they do. Everything that I really wanted to get, the cost of it would have been about the same as just going with this deal they were doing to get everything. So I got everything, which means I have all of the basses. I didn't have to pick one. And so I've been wondering, which one would I have picked if I had had to pick? So in today's video, I thought I would have them fight it out, just for my own entertainment, but also so that I can actually have a full play around with each one and see exactly what sort of sounds come out of each one, so that when I'm looking for a bass sound, I know which one to reach for a bit more based on what I'm looking for. So we are going to create 3 different bass parts, 2 really simple bass parts, and then something a bit more funky sounding. So we're going to rank them on 5 things in total. Overall bassiness, because obviously it's very important that a bass guitar is quite bassy. Quality of the player in each individual one. So the UJAM plugins, they've got just an instrument mode where you can play in with the sound just as a normal instrument. But they also have the player mode where if you just press a key on your keyboard, it triggers pre-programmed MIDI basically. And you can also load in the pre-programmed MIDI from a lot of them directly into your DAW. Number 3, quality of the preset sounds. Number 4, how overall fun and funky they can sound. Every bass should be able to do fun and funky. Even a metal bass should be able to do fun and funky. And number 5, most important for me, as we all know, versatility. I do love a versatile plugin. Okay, so player number 1, the dandy. Sounds quite nice on these sorts of bass parts, those more melodic type bass parts, I think. It's ranking pretty high on bassiness so far, I would say. Well, that's very bassy. And it's got a deep 808 finisher on. I do really like the sound of the vintage amp on this one. It's quite a cool one, that one, isn't it? Especially on the warm and the natural, those are nice and bassy. But if you're not using the deep 808 sound, see, that one's not too bad. What the hell does Hot Bath do? Yeah, with other finisher effects on them, you don't have quite that bassiness. The deep 808 is doing a lot of the work here to get us bassy. But, you know, you can achieve a good bassy sound with it. So I'm gonna rank it about a 3, I think. A 3 out of 5 for bassiness. How are we gonna rate the player? There we go, it starts here. Riff love. Let's try this one. Okay, I really like some of the player options there. Those are some really cool. 4 or 5. If I rank it 5, it might get topped later in 4. I'm going to put 4 for now. Depending on what the others give me, that will let me decide if that's actually a 5 or not. But I don't feel like it's quite a 5 because I feel like it could be topped. 4.5. Okay, let's look at some of the presets that it's got. So you can see the kind of genres that it's expecting you to use it for, because you've got funk presets, hip-hop presets, jazz presets, pop, and soul. Let's see, what's Ace of Stage like? Oh wait, let's put it back on instrument and just hear them on the basic ones now. See, Around the World sounds cool, but I can't see myself ever actually using that bass sound on a lot of things. Unless, like, bass was going to be really, really, really a focal point, but it would have to be such a focal point in the track that there's basically nothing else going around it for a bass sound this distinctive to really work. Let's make sure we're getting out of hip-hop and into some others. Let's go into some jazz ones. Nice. That's a nice jazz one, that. Oh, wow. Ooh. Amazing how different these sound, isn't it? Very cool. Okay. And finally some soul ones. It's got some good versatility there. Okay, in terms of the presets, again, I think I'm going to rank them a 4.5. This is partially personal opinion, really, isn't it? I just think there's a lot of very varied presets in there, though. But I think each of those individual presets really did sound quite distinct from each other, which I always like. I don't like putting on a different preset and finding it sounds exactly the same as the last one that I just put on, you know? I could see myself using a lot of those presets basically just as they are, with just a couple of tweaks as well. So that's always a good sign. Then in terms of funk, I'm going to rate this a 5. I don't think we're going to get funkier than this one. It does sound really good on those really funky player options that it's got in there. Really nice. And versatility, I'm going to rank it a 4. I think that it's got some nice gritty sounds in there, but grittiness is probably one of the things it's not got quite as much of. Our next bass is mellow. I feel like I put mellow on once thinking it would be perfect, really wanting to like it, and just didn't. So mellow is being aimed at us more for blues, rock, country, funk, soul again, but funk and soul are put together this time rather than separate genres, which tells you it's not really aimed at that so much. For some reason it puts the jet plane on this one for its default preset, I don't know why. The comb filter is giving us some decent bass. And even when I change up these character ones away from deep, like deep is particularly bassy, but these others are nice and decently bassy as well. Full isn't very bassy. Okay, there's some decent bassiness to that. I'd say it's a little bit better than the other one, but it's still not bassy, bassy, bassy. So I'm gonna rank mellow a 4 on bass, I think. Let's have a look at the player. Oh, wow. I'm not gonna lie, I can understand the purpose of those, but I'm not massively keen on a lot of them. There we go. Let's go really far down. Let's try this 3/4 swing one. Oh, that's nice. Could build some really nice bass parts out of this really easily. Oh, let's try a 5/4 swing. Okay, I really like the player on this one. I'm going to go ahead and rank it a 5. I could definitely see myself pulling in some of those midis to then have a little play with them to make them a bit more my own. Presets! Let's have a look at some presets. Let's start with this intro one. Oh, that's boring. 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 Let's try alternative. That's a really interesting sound, that. Look at some of these hip-hop ones. Ooh, that one's... Oh, I really like that one as well. I'm loving these with quite a lot of reverb on them. They're sounding really nice. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna, I think, score these presets a little bit more than a 3, a little bit less than a 4, so I think a 3.5 for the presets, because I really like the presets, but a lot of them are quite samey. And on that note, I will also now give it a versatility score of, I think, about 3. It's not versatile, but it's not, like, I couldn't pull this out on pretty much any track. There are certain tracks that this is going to work really well on, but this is not really the bass to go for if you're looking for a bass sound that can sit nicely in pretty much anything. In terms of its funkiness though, you know what? I'm going to give it a 4.5 for funk. It's not as funky as Dandy. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm giving it a 5. Because it's very fun. And funky and fun. Oh, it's funky and fun, not just funky, that category. Okay. Bass number 3. We're on to Rowdy. So this one's more aimed at rock. As you can see. Classic rock, hard and heavy, millennium rock. Pretty standard sort of rock bass sound. Not very bassy though, is it? This as a standard rock bass sound. How does it sound on the funkier one? Not bad actually. There's nothing in here that's saying will add bass to me, but let's have a flick through them and see. That's got a bit more bass to it. But still not very bassy, that really, overall. Overall, I think it's getting a relatively low score in terms of its overall bassiness. Probably about a 2, because I'd say Dandy was bassier. Okay, let's have a look at the player. What you got for me? Not getting a lot of versatility so far in terms of the player here. We're getting a lot of quite samey stuff. Okay, there we go. We've got something very different here. We're not getting some really dramatic stuff in the player here, like we were with the others. But these genres overall go for a simpler style of bass. So I'd say they're quite suited to the genres. They're quite usable. I could play a lot of this stuff in really easily myself, and I don't necessarily know if I would pull out the MIDI for these and alter the MIDI rather than just play something in myself. You know, one of the things I like about having these player options in these bass parts is it helps when you're not like a bass player or something like that, when you're not actually a player of the instrument, to be able to get some ideas of something cool and different you can try, that you throw that MIDI in and then you just alter it a little bit to make it suit your song that little bit more and make it a little bit, you know, make it not exactly what you've just pulled out of the MIDI there. You don't want it to be exactly the same as it. But, you know, I only lean for that if I'm looking for something to, like, try something different. Whereas, you know, a lot of this is just really basic bass patterns that just... I would lean to doing that sort of thing myself without needing the player to prompt me to it. So, overall, I think I'm going to rate the player a 2.5. We'll give it a straight down the middle score because it's suited to the genre. They're usable. Some of those fills would be kind of handy, I think. But overall, I couldn't see myself leaning into using the player on this one that much. Let's have a look at the presets. Nice. Give me some classic rock ones. Oh, Jesus! Came out of nowhere. Oh, that one's really nice. I like that. That's quite different from a lot of the others have been quite samey so far, so that one's been quite nice because it's quite different. Ooh. Ooh, okay, we're getting into some really distorted stuff here. Look, Mum, I'm on stage. There's a decent amount of sameness going on in these again, with the occasional one that's a bit out there. Let's have a little play with it here to see how versatile it actually is. Okay. I think in terms of funkiness, there is some funky funness there. There's definitely some fun there in it. I think I'm going to rate it about a 3.5 in terms of funky funness. In terms of the presets, I think they're very good for what you're looking for in terms of this is very much geared towards rock. They're not quite as varied as I might like them to be. I think I'm going to let it go for about a 3. I think it is more versatile than Mellow, but not as versatile as Dandy was. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 for that as well, because it is more versatile than Mellow is, in the Mellow, basically, you gotta have a very particular type of track, and it's a very distinctive bass sound with Mellow, whereas you could just use this for quite a generic bass sound, where it's not gonna overpower everything as much. Bass number 4. It's called Royal. What genres do you lend yourself to, Royal? Some rock genres, also pop, bit of reggae and ska and Latin this time though, with funk and soul and ballad. Very weird and varied this. Let's see. It's not bad. Let's have a quick play to see if we can get it bassier, because it's decently bassy, but it could be bassier. Oh, the DI is actually less bassy, I'd say. Yeah, we lost a lot of bass there. What have we got in our add-ons? I'm just gonna move you up. Yeah, it's really not bassing as heavy and hard, that is it? It's decently bassy if you have it on warm. I think I'm going to rank that about a 2 again. Same as Rowdy. Try the player. What have you got for me? Okay, wow. Definitely very funky, that. Okay, again, those are some good player options there. But again, we've got some genres that lend themselves more to those more melodic, interesting kind of bass riffs and stuff. Yeah, I'm liking the player there. I don't like it quite as much as I did Dandy though, so I think I'm gonna give it a 4. Okay, presets. Getting a lot of sameness so far here. A few little distinctions here and there. I thought it would be more varied than this, with the variety of genres. But it's more that it's suitable for a lot of these different genres, because it's quite simplistic in its sound. Oh wow, okay, they're all in, all the more interesting ones are in the rock one. I'd say I would rank these presets probably about a 3 again. I'm not mad about them, there's nothing in them that I'm particularly loving, and I think there was a lot of sameness there, but some good decent presets still, some interesting ones in there. Some of those sounds are decently funky, but there's not a lot of fun to it because it is quite simple. So I think on funky and fun, I'm going to give it a 2.5. It can do some funky and fun, but it's really not lending itself to that. It's lending itself more to simple, which is making it relatively versatile. I'd say it makes it more versatile than mellow, definitely, and a bit more versatile than Rowdy. I'd say this is probably as versatile as Dandy was, but for different reasons. I think like Dandy was versatile because you could do a lot more with it, but this is versatile because it is much more simplistic in terms of what you can do with it, but that's going to lend itself to a lot of genres. So a 4, but for different reasons than the 4 from before. We are on to our last bass, and it is called Slap. Slap bass. The fun thing about this one that I do like, that makes it a bit more versatile than the others, is that you have the option for finger bass, slap bass, or combi. So that is quite fun. I do like that. This overall sound is relatively bassy. Not as bassy as could be. Definitely bassier on rough there, isn't it? So we'll leave it on rough. It's got loads of finishes, this one. Let's have a quick flick through these and see how bassy they make them. Okay, yeah, I've got a low end one, which you can boost quite a bit. But that is making it very bassy. If we have it on deep as well, it'd probably go even bassier. In fact, you know what? I think this one, I'm going to rank a 5 in terms of bassiness. Okay, let's have a look at the player. I feel like we heard that in one of the others. Oh, wow. I forgot to have a look at what genres it said it was going to do. So we got pop and a lot of rock ones, and then also funk and experimental. Yeah, it's for more out there. That's really good. I really like this one. Okay, let's scroll a bit further down and see if we can get something simpler. No. There are no simple ones in this. Oh, there we go. That's a bit simpler. What shall I rank the player? You know what? The player does not need to be versatile. We have a whole versatility section to rank on. So I'm going to rank this player 5. I love those. I would definitely use a lot of those. What have you got for me in terms of tone? we've already got a lot of versatility here in terms of the different tones. These are all really quite distinct. I like that one. That's nice and mellow, but still cool and interesting. Yep, these are all very different. Very cool. Ooh, that one's nice. I really like a lot of the presets in that. You know, there's a lot of difference between them. I'm going to go ahead and rank that 5. I think that's got the best presets yet so far. We've got 5s across the board for slap so far. In terms of funk and fun, again, okay, I don't think it's not quite as funk and fun as mellow and dandy, but it is pretty funky and fun. So I'm going to give it a 4.5. Versatility, I think I can give it a 5, because I think you can do, you know, quite a generic bass sound with this. You can do a sound that is going to sit across a lot of genres really easily, but also you can do some really distinct stuff like that from this. So I think that's the first one where I'm going to rank it a 5 in terms of versatility. So let's tot up the scores, guys. 21 for dandy, 20.5 for mellow, 14.5 for rowdy. Definitely scored the worst there. 15.5 for royal. 5, 24.5 out of 25 that's scored. Safe to say, my favourite of the basses is slap, which is amazing because I have pulled it out quite a bit, but I usually go for dandy more. But maybe I need to start going for slap more, and maybe I need to give mellow more of a chance because mellow has also scored really highly. I've been sort of leaning into rowdy. I've been thinking that rowdy would be the one I would go for a lot more because I do more of a rock sound quite a bit. But actually, if I'm going to go for more of that rock sound, I might go for slap more often than rowdy. I feel like that is actually coming through more. Anyway, what did you think of each of them? Which one was your favourite? Which one do you think you would end up pulling out more? If you were going to pick one, if you were going to buy only one of these, which one do you think you'd buy? You can do 30-day free trials of these plugins, so if you want to actually give them a try yourself, mess around with and see if there's something you end up leaning for. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even found it a little bit useful. If you did, then you might enjoy my content on this channel in general, so you might want to consider subscribing. But I know that that is a big decision to make. You wouldn't want to subscribe and unsubscribe, so do feel free to check out some of the other content on this channel before you make the decision. There will be something recommended on the end screen. If you want to follow me on all of my social media, they are all linked below, including my new artist profiles for when I'm ready to start releasing new music. Woo! There is also a link down there to my Buy Me a Coffee account where you can support me with money. You can join my membership on there and that will get you exclusive content like outtakes from these videos, or you can just send me one-off donations if you just wanted to send me a little tip to say good video mate. Okay, that is all for today's video. I shall see you guys next time with another fun music related video of some sort. Bye!